Happy Sunday, crypto fam. What it do? I'll let your boy in the live chat. Lots to discuss today. In today's show, Bitcoin price targets a fix on $35,000 as Bitcoin eyes massive liquidity squeeze. I'll be breaking down the latest technical analysis. And quoting Max Keiser, the high priest of Bitcoin, the IMF is a Ponzi scheme. They are close to running out of suckers. It is predictable they would lend money to the money launderers in the Ukraine. The end of the IMF is nigh. Also in today's show, breaking news, Trump NFTs pump after his indictment, and Q1 trading volume for NFTs surpasses $4.7 billion. We'll also be discussing top crypto analyst says Bitcoin is on the cusp of making history. I'll be breaking down this analysis from crypto analyst Rec Capital. Also, we'll be discussing a new global currency designed to ditch the US dollar coming from BRICS nation. I'll be breaking down this latest report, as well as here's what could signal the next big Bitcoin leg up amid this massive Bitcoin transactions, according to crypto analytics firm Sentiment. Also in today's show, we'll be discussing the New York couple behind El Salvador's Bitcoin experiment, referring to Max Keiser and Stacy Herbert. And we're also going to be discussing the $1 billion backed bonds by BTC. And quoting Stacy, perfect money needed a great leader for the extraordinary to manifest as it has done in El Salvador. And 500 years from now, President Bukele's transformation of this society will be taught alongside those of the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, ancient Rome, and ancient Greece. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. Welcome everyone for tuning in. Today is Sunday, April 2nd, 2023. I'm your host, JV, and this is podcast episode number 1239. Let's kick off today's show with today's market watch. As you can see, the current crypto market is correcting. We got Bitcoin down about 1% for the day, trading above 28,100. We have Ether maintaining just above 1,800, down 1.2%. And XRP, Doge, and Polkadot are in the green, but barely. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, the current crypto market cap is at $1.17 trillion with just under 30 billion in volume in the past 24 hours. Today's Bitcoin dominance the same as yesterday at 46.4%, with the Ether dominance at 18.5%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, we have Solar up 12%, trading just under 68 cents, followed by Aptos up 8%, trading at $12.12, followed by Dogecoin up almost 3%, trading just under 7.9 cents. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, only a handful in the green, which includes Apt up 8.3%, Cusp up 6.3%, and one of the biggest losers is CFX down 9.3%. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, one of my favorite indicators, shows we're currently rated a 63, which is greed. Yesterday was a 61, last week a 64, and last month a 50, which is neutral. So there you have it. How many of you are currently taking advantage of this current dip? Let me know. Now let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis. Shall we? Here we go. Bitcoin stayed on course for its highest weekly close in 10 months on April 2nd as 28,000 held firm. And here you're looking at the Bitcoin 1 week candle chart, which is looking pretty bullish. And data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView showed Bitcoin stable over the weekend after closing out March at near 28,500. Now, a key resistance from earlier in its current halving cycle is the current trading zone, representing a major hurdle for the bulls to overcome should they manage it. Price targets extend beyond the $30,000 mark, quoting Jackie's right here. Not an expert on classical chart patterns, but if we can fit the current structure in it, that gives a minimum price target of $35,000 for Bitcoin. Also a nice confluence of a break above the high at 32.5, where a lot of stops are sitting to create a possible deviation above. Let me know if you agree or disagree with the analysts. Now, a whole new ball game if Bitcoin breaks it. We have the NASDAQ and the S&P went strong into the weekly close. Still major pessimism and disbelief while major milestones are close to being made for stocks and BTC. It feels like some bear is very desperately trying to defend the 29,000 to 30 region. Another analyst said, I think that when this level breaks, massive liquidations will come in. And it does feel like a matter of when, not if, because there is zero froth in the market, only some spot supply. And an accompanying chart, which you can see here, showed the Binance order book with bid and ask liquidity concentrations by different price levels. And on the shorter time frames, traders were content to wait for the weekly close to cement prior gains, quoting Crypto Tony, ranging this weekend, it seems, on the corn. And for continuation, the bulls want to reclaim the range high of 28,750 until we chill. And others were more pessimistic, amongst them trading resource stock money lizards, which described a correction as very likely before Bitcoin hits 30K. Quoting him here, Bitcoin like in February, we now see a bearish divergence, correction still very likely before we approach 30,000. And last month, nonetheless, managed to crown itself one of Bitcoin's best March months, adding 23%. That's right, which you can see clearly outlined right here, making it its best performance for quarter one since 2021. Now, also, Bitcoin's trajectory mimics both years, seeing at least 3 months in the green before significant consolidation begins. So there you have it. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin regarding the IMF giving $15.6 billion loan to Ukraine, Max had to share, the IMF is a Ponzi scheme. They are close to running out of suckers. It is predictable they would lend money to the money launderers in the Ukraine. The end of the IMF is nigh. And shout out to Max. I love Max and Stacy. I'm a huge fan, if you couldn't already tell. And yeah, so I mean, it is what it is. Expect the IMF to continue to do what the IMF does. But isn't it awesome that Bukele and El Salvador paid off that IMF loan of $800 million so they can no longer be controlled by the international monetary fraud, as I like to call it, because they have a Bitcoin standard. They don't want the bankers in their country, and I don't blame them. But with that being shared, now let's discuss the latest of what's happening with these Trump NFTs as they are surging as a result of his recent indictment. Following the news of the New York grand jury voting to indict former President Donald Trump on March 30th, the floor price for the officially licensed Trump digital trading cards NFT project pumped. According to data from OpenSea, NFT traders were seemingly spurred into action by the announcement, with the floor price moving from 0.46 Ether or $835 to as high as 0.6 Ether, which is almost $1,100 on the same day, which you can see here in this chart. Now, when the project launched in December of 2022, it offered exclusive one-on-one experiences to certain NFT holders, such as private golf sessions, dinners, and conversations with the former president. The indictment news could potentially impact the former president's ability to deliver on the experiences. At this time, the floor price has since dropped back to around 0.51 ETH range. The price still sits well above the initial mint price of $99 from back in December. And according to a March 30th report from blockchain analytics platform DappRadar, there was $4.7 billion worth of NFT trading volume just in quarter one of this year, more than double of that of the previous quarter. So the NFTs continue to soar. The firm pointed to bullish action from the Blur marketplace, which took the market by storm during its token airdrop farming period back in February. The $4.7 billion came from 19.4 million NFT sales in quarter one, marking an increase of 8.5%, with total volume increasing by 147% compared with the $1.9 billion posted in quarter four of 2022. Meanwhile, the Ethereum network accounted for a whopping $4.1 billion worth of the volume, with second place Solana contributing $242 million, while Polygon ranked third with $85 million for the quarter. So there you have it. How many of you are familiar with these Trump NFTs or have invested in them? Let me know in the comments right down below. And do you think the prices are likely to continue to soar? Figuring that he is being indicted, if this is not fake news and this is, really going down as they claim it is. Let me know your thoughts. And now let's break down our next story of the day, and that's Bitcoin on the cusp of making history. Let's go. Popular crypto analyst Rat Capital says the King Crypto is about to make history with a key breakout to the upside. He tells his followers that Bitcoin is entering April above a key macro downtrend resistance, a trend line that has kept Bitcoin bearish since its all-time high back in November of 2021. This is a typo. It wasn't in 2022, just FYI. Tomorrow, the Bitcoin monthly candle will have a close above the macro downtrend to confirm the bull market. Bitcoin is on the very cusp of making history. Full send. Let's go. Rec also says that Bitcoin broke out exactly 396 days before the Bitcoin halving, which is slated for April of next year, which is literally just 1 year away. The halving is when the amount of newly issued Bitcoin gets cut in half. He has that in 2019. Bitcoin also broke out exactly 396 days before the halving of 2020. Quoting him here, Bitcoin tends to break its macro downtrend around a year before its upcoming halving. This time is no different. Can you say deja vu? The popular analyst says that another factor that favors Bitcoin is the the fact that the quarterly bullish engulfing candle just closed for Bitcoin. A bullish engulfing candle is when a green candle completely overlaps a previous red candle on both the opening and the closing prices. Quoting him again here, Bitcoin's on the cusp of confirming its first quarterly bullish engulfing candle since early 2020. Historically, quarterly bullish engulfing candles have preceded multiple quarters of upside, so bring it. Now, let me know if you are also just as bullish and think Bitcoin's on the cusp of making history. Let me know in the comments right down below, which leads us to our next story of the day. Do you know that the BRICS is talking about releasing their own currency? Could it be backed by gold? Well, let's discuss how this is likely to play out. According to the latest report, a group of economically aligned nations plan to create a new currency that could reduce the world's dependence on the US dollar and the euro. According to this report, the group of emerging economies known collectively as BRICS are exploring how such a currency would be structured, reports the Russian state-owned news agency Sputnik. The new dollar alternative could be backed by gold, additional rare earth metals, or something else entirely, says the State Duma Deputy Chairman Alexander Babakov. Quoting him here, the transition to settlements in national currencies is the first step. The next one is to provide the circulation of digital or any other form of a fundamentally new currency in the nearest future. I think that at the coming BRICS summit, the readiness to realize this project will be announced. Such works are underway. So there you have it. The news comes days after China executed its first liquefied natural gas trade using the yuan instead of the dollar, as reported by Reuters. And as I covered here in the show, the acronym BRICS stands for countries including Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. A number of additional nations, including Saudi Arabia, Argentina, Iran, Indonesia, Turkey, and Egypt, have reportedly expressed interest in joining the alliance. Can you say the death of the US dollar? The upcoming BRICS summit is set for August 22nd in South Africa, so it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because as we all know, and I've been telling you for a very long time, the dollar is doomed. That's why we have Bitcoin. You feel me? Now let's break down next story of the day. We'll discuss Bitcoin's next big leg up, and then we'll be breaking down some very interesting data regarding El Salvador with Max and Stacy Herbert and the billion-dollar Volcano bond. But here we go. Prominent crypto analytics platform Santiment, shout out to Santiment, says one metric could signal the next big rally for Bitcoin amid a flurry of massive whale transactions involving the king crypto. That's right. According to market intelligence firm Santiment, traders should keep a close watch on the market caps of stablecoins such as Tether USDT, USD Coin, which is USDC, Binance USD, Pax Dollar, and DAI. Santiment says that the combined buying power of the top 5 stablecoins stands at $126 billion, which is more than double its value in March of 2021. And per the analytics firm, Bitcoin's sustained ascent could hinge the growth of the top 5 stablecoins by market cap. Quoting Santiment here, as a great Q1 comes to an end for the recovering crypto markets, the combined buying power for USDT, USDC, BUSD, DAI, and USDP is $126 billion. The decline has tapered off this week. A rise would signal a major increased probability of Bitcoin rising. Let's go. And they also shared insights on the stablecoin market coming from the analytics firm. They recently issued an alert for the Bitcoin hodlers. Last week, the analytics firm revealed that 5 of the largest Bitcoin transactions thus far this year all happened in March, suggesting that large Bitcoin entities may be starting to take profits. Quoting them again, based on very large transactions going on in March, as well as the 10,000 BTC addresses tiers continuing to slide down by percentage and taper off by total addresses, it does look like there are some legitimate caution flags to be wary of if you're hoping to see Bitcoin surge to $35,000 and beyond. The 5 largest transactions of 2023 thus far have all happened in March, and this seems to be a result of profit taking and fears of a top after the 70% plus rebound for the king crypto. That's right, year to date, Bitcoin is up roughly between 70 and 75%. Not too shabby for our first quarter gains, and we're just entering the second quarter. This is just the second day, so we have a lot more legs up and momentum to continue. Where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to end this year of 2023 as we head into the halving next year of 2024? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and at the end of the show, I'll be reading everyone's comments out loud, giving everyone the opportunity to get their comments heard, and I'll be doing some live Q&A. But all right, now let's dive into our next breaking story of the day, and the moment you've all been waiting for. Here's Max Keiser, the high priest of Bitcoin, with the El Salvador flag flag. This was back in one of the recent events, I think in Miami of 2022. He was waving it. So check this out. And this was in the Wall Street Journal, just FYI, which they're known for also producing FUD, but we're going to discuss all of this. El Salvador, the two New Yorkers who created a popular financial news show on Russian state television and cashed in on the crypto boom, have emerged as key advisors to the Salvadoran government on its Bitcoin adoption. That's right. For those of you in the know, you know Max and Stacy from the Keiser report. Max and Stacy are also investing in Bitcoin ventures in the Central American country and are founding backers of a crypto exchange that is helping manage El Salvador's sovereign debt sale that is linked to the King crypto. The so-called Volcano Token bond will be backed by proceeds from Bitcoin mining, use geothermal power from their volcano. That's right, 100% naturally. The couple first visited the country back in 2021, the same year that President Nayib Bukele adopted Bitcoin as a national currency for the highly indebted nation of 6 million people. They are major supporters of the president, advocating his policies on social media, where they have almost 700,000 followers. Quoting Stacy right here on crypto Twitter, perfect money needed a great leader for the extraordinary to manifest as it has done in El Salvador. In 500 years from now, Bukele's transformation of this society will be taught alongside those of the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, ancient Rome, and ancient Greece. Very profound words coming from Stacy. Now, Herbert is a former Hollywood script consultant who describes herself as a fairy godmother, volcano blonde, and keeper of the vision, and has introduced as the head of El Salvador's national Bitcoin office. So massive shout out to Stacy. Mr. Keiser says he serves as a senior advisor to Mr. Bukele, a role confirmed by people familiar with his work. That's right. That's why he is the high priest of Bitcoin. Now, the Bitcoin experiment in El Salvador hasn't alleviated the country's poverty, according to this article. Bitcoin's use in the country is scarce. Now, I disagree there because the majority of the population is using it, so I don't know how they can say it is scarce, but I expect nothing less than FUD from some of these mainstream articles. Central bank data shows cryptos make up less than 2% of foreign remittances, which are a main source of income for El Salvador's $29 billion economy. The country was racked by gang violence and had one of the world's highest homicide rates until Mr. Bukele suspended constitutional and civil rights a year ago to confront gangs. More than 60,000 people with suspected ties to criminal groups have been detained since then, and I'm sure you've seen this on crypto Twitter. Homicides have plunged as a result, the government says, making El Salvador one of the safest nations in the world. Now, Ms. Herbert and Mr. Keiser declined to request for the interview and didn't respond to questions about their work in El Salvador. However, as you know, we follow them very closely on crypto Twitter, and that's right, also on YouTube with all of their podcasts. And also, let's now discuss this Bitfinex spokesperson. And regarding the volcano bonds, Keiser brought Bitfinex on board as a financial technology provider for the planned $1 billion volcano token offering, said one person familiar with the couple's work. Bitfinex has said in statements that it advised Mr. Bukele's administration on the country's new law for the issuance of crypto assets and that it will apply for a trading license under the legislation. Bitfinex is also an investor in El Zonte Capital, the U.S. couple's new fund set up to invest in Bitcoin ventures in El Salvador, the couple has said. Now, Herbert joined the National Bitcoin Office 9 months after the launch of El Zonte Capital. The fund said on Twitter that it aims to invest up to $10 million on seeding the first generation of Salvadoran Bitcoin unicorns, a unicorn being a privately held startup worth at least $1 billion. The fund said it made its first investment last year in Galoy, a developer of financial software for using Bitcoin, and Herbert says that in her government position, she acts as a gatekeeper to prevent scams. So more power to them, determining who is eligible to do Bitcoin business in the country. To be clear, I will receive no salary nor any contracts from either El Salvador or any private company. I am doing this for the president, Bukele, she said on Twitter. We don't get remunerated in any way. Mr. Keiser told an interviewer on a Salvadoran YouTube channel last week, I would say it's just really an act of love. True altruism, unlike that of Scam Bankman-Fried, right? Now, Herbert's title at the National Bitcoin Office hasn't been previously reported. Photographs have been taken at the conference last month in San Salvador, showing signage identifying her as a director. People familiar with her work say she has had a leading role for the government office since its creation last year. Now, Max and Stacy, the internet in an internet cafe in the southern France about 2 decades ago became critics of central banks and multilateral lenders, which they have pushed colonial interests, which is facts. I mean, they've been calling out the fraudsters of the central banking system and central banking actors for a very long time. And we all remember the Keiser report was actually one of my favorite financial broadcasts, and I actually miss it. It's now been off air for about the past year. And for those who don't know, Max and Stacy, they were the first to share about Bitcoin on national television via the RT Keiser report. This was back in, I believe, was that back in 2011? They started talking about it. And yeah, I mean, this is back when Bitcoin was virtually $1. And right now, Bitcoin is $28,000. So they had the foresight to see this a long time ago. They recognized, El Salvador being the savior, which FYI, it translates to in English. And that's not, I don't think it's a coincidence. And now we have, the one nation on the planet that I'm aware of, which doesn't have a corrupted government, corrupted by fiat dirty money, which we're witnessing right now with Joe Biden in the United States and all across different countries around the world. But now that it looks like the death of the dollar, what do you think this means for the future of the king crypto and the future of El Salvador and nations that adopt Bitcoin as the legal tender? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below. And now for some live Q&A. Let's start at the top here. I know we got a jam-packed session, which I love to see. Tough Cookie, good to see you. Lawrence, Digital Dankness, Frankie V in the building. SpongeBob, good to see you, fam. Lawrence Abramoff, Steve Kingston, good to see y'all as well. We even got Helen. It's been a while. It's good to see you. I'm going to scroll to the top, and we'll start rattling out some of the comments. Bitcoin is my game. I went on one obsession to another. That's what's up, SpongeBob. Love to hear that. Can't wait for the first podcast from the Tates to drop. It's going to break the internet. Agreed. And shout out to Top G and Tristan for finally being released on home arrest, house arrest, whatever it's called. Probably have ankle monitors tracking their movement, but at least they're not in a tiny prison cell any further, considering there have been 0 criminal charges submitted against them. And in that case, why are they even in prison in the first place? Maybe because they are a target of the Matrix, which it seems very probable if you're to ask me. My father says, don't grow up. Their hobbies and passions just get more expensive. Oh, guys don't grow up. Their hobbies and passions. Yeah, that makes sense. Your father is correct. Smash the like button if you haven't already. I appreciate that, Bitcoin Maximus, and appreciate everyone's continued support. I also appreciate the super chat contributions coming from Dankness and many of you. So thank you very, very, very much. Yeah, man. I mean, let's go back down here. Respect. Sailing with Twins, good to see you as well. Shout out to South Africa. We all take different paths to become who we are. Never gaslight your situation. Always strive for better. But keep in mind and forever evolving for the best you can. Sage advice, Dankness. I appreciate you sharing your insights. Did anyone see Jocko ripping into SBF, calling him an evil dork? I missed that. I'll have to check that out. I don't even know who Jocko is. So is that a YouTube channel? Let me know. Yeah, Lawrence, again, I appreciate that very, very much. Lawrence says, so I was talking to a really old colleague for the first time about crypto. He too lost over 300 plus from back in the day. Are you referring to 300,000 plus? Let me know. So for the two of us, it's like 600 plus destroyed forever. And I was talking about that. The lost Bitcoin supply surpasses 4 million. So even though there can only ever be 21 million Bitcoin in existence, consider 4 million at least lost and gone forever. So 21 minus 4, 20, 19, 18, 17, that leaves us with 17 million of the most pristine asset ever created, perfect money, aka Bitcoin. Just saying. And yeah, shout out to Top G. I said I can't wait for their first podcast. It's going to break the internet. Facts. So happy for Top G. I was scared it was an April Fool's joke, says Lawrence. Yeah, I know, because that was just like the other day, and today, or yes, as of yesterday, it's April, right? So many people are going to be tuned in to hear their side, and it only took 4 months for it to be able to be heard. Talk about a gag order gone wrong. Facts. I agree with you. Great injustice. And I hope those behind this pay the price for their crimes against them. You know what I mean? And even if it's the women who were, telling lies to have them falsely arrested for clout or for money, that's not right. Women shouldn't have that authority or power to put a man in prison just because they want to take advantage of them and their finances. It's messed up. You know what I mean? Look what Amber Heard did to Johnny Depp. And again, there was another woman recently in the news who was hitting herself with a hammer and claiming she was a victim of abuse. This is like spitting in the face of real abuse victims. You know what I mean? And trying to game the system. Thank God she got caught. Now she's going to face prison time. You know what I mean? Which serves her right. The fact that came out and was stoic, not angry, just feeling blessed and full of forgiveness, that makes him a true idol for the next generation. Facts. Agreed. I'm looking for a buy opportunity again. Are we going to go lower? Well, keep in mind, we already hit a high of this year of 29.2. Right now, we're 28. So I say that is a great BTFD opportunity, if you're to ask me, especially if you believe in the long-term potential of Bitcoin, in which I'm going to assume each and every one of you do if you tune into my show on a daily basis. You know what I mean? Yeah, Dankness, he looks more ripped. Like, what the crappy nutrition plan? Go figure. I mean, to still look ripped and have no access to real nutrition goes to show you he is a top G. You know what I mean? Good morning, JV and Crypto Fam. Let's go. Good morning, Megadon. Appreciate you tuning in as always. 1,750 push-ups a month. Top G inspired me. The days I skip the gym, which is rare, but when I do skip the gym, I do 500 push-ups. That's because I got that from Andrew Tate. I think I would normally do 250 push-ups, 5 sets of 50, not so hard. But when I saw Top G talking about doing 500 push-ups per day, it inspired me to push harder. And guess what? I set a limit in my mind. 250 was enough, but guess what? Now I do 500 a day. I got next level gains, and I'm very grateful for Top G inspiring me to do that. You know what I mean? That guy is crazy. He's probably not joking either, but there's really a lot and not a lot. I'm a fat slob. I do exercise, weights, and walk, says Lawrence. Don't beat yourself up, fam, and never compare yourself to another human being. Just compare yourself to your best version of yourself and become even greater. You know what I mean? Look at yourself last month, last week, and how do I become a greater version of myself today? We can fall into a trap comparing ourselves to professional athletes, you know, or something of that nature, but I don't think that's really fair, and that can create animosity in our minds, thinking we're less than when we're not. We just need to become a better version of ourselves, so hopefully that hits home with you, that message. Dip a bit. Out 30,000-ish, sell hard, slow dribble down below 25.2. That's how I see the next 2 to 3 months. Then boom, says Steve Kingston. How many of you agree with Steve? Frankie V says, welcome all Crypto News Alerts, Crypto Fam. If you are right now here, you are a winner. I agree 100%. All y'all are winners, and appreciate the love and support as always, Frankie V. Yeah, man. Good stuff. Lawrence Abramoff, that would be nuts if he did 7,000 a day, but he did say when they welcomed him back to his house that he did 7,000 in total, from what I heard. I think I heard that correctly, too. He was trying to get to 10,000, and he was at like 7,700, just short of 10,000 push-ups, which is no joke. How many of you have actually done 10,000 plus push-ups in your entire life? Let me know, because he just did that virtually in 4 months, less than 4 months. SpongeBob, I think most people see Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. Then it is really a hedge against money printing. Well, facts, it is obviously a hedge against both. It's a hedge against so much more as well. It's a hedge against this entire clown world, to say the least, and everything in this clown world. You know what I mean? Helen, it's good to see you. Johnny Midas, good morning, good afternoon, welcome. I did my girlfriend's laundry, so I'm in the doghouse now. Oh boy, bring facts. Never do your girlfriend's laundry, especially if they have a very unique or special way they need to have it done, or you'll never hear the end of it. And now you know firsthand. Helen, nice to see you, JV. My younger brother is a legend. Shout out to my older broski. Nah, I got enough ganja to keep my head right, probably to forget this lesson too, says Bring Facts. Well, thank God for cannabis, God's medicine. You know what I mean? Wish everyone in the chat nothing but health, happiness, and financial freedom. The word for that is opulence. I'm also wishing opulence to each and every one of you tuned into Crypto News Alerts on a daily basis. And if you're new to the show, you know what to do. Smash the like, hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications so you get notified every single day when I go live and you don't miss out. Lawrence says, not like I can complain or laugh, though. I got "you are too" carrying complaint from my girlfriend. That term is used very loosely. What's wrong with people? No one here, of course. Yeah, I can relate as well. Helen says, Max and Stacy are brilliant. Absolutely my favorite power couple in Bitcoin, and they deserve to be. They've been consistent for the past year. I share videos of them every single day on Twitter, if you didn't know. Why do I do that? Because I respect them that much. They're the truth. You know what I mean? And not many people resonate with me in today's modern age as being truth tellers. They're one of the few, and there's very few in between. Bukele being another, obviously, hence why they're in El Salvador. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I really missed the Keiser report, says Adam too. I think everyone can relate to that. Definitely one of my favorite shows, as I mentioned. My other ladies are pretty happy. A couple more almost ready to chop, referring to his cannabis plants. Much love. Good stuff. You know what I mean? Maximus, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Sucks not being here during the work week, says Steve. Well, at least you're here during the weekend. Appreciate that. That's why I can't always make it, but always watch the show. Not missed one for years at this point. I'm literally 12 hours ahead, says Lawrence. That's what's up. So right now it is 12:30 a.m. while it's 12:30 p.m. here in Puerto Rico. So much respect. Thanks for tuning in. I've even done shows as late as 5 p.m. Eastern time, and I've seen Lawrence tuning in at 5 a.m., not even going to sleep to not miss a show. That's diehard dedication. And again, I appreciate that level of support. It means the world to me. BRICS, wow, I am embarrassed to be a part of it. We had no choice. Africa, not for sissies, says Sailing with Twins. Amen. And shout out to everyone out there in Africa, South Africa, and all the African countries. Helen, all the beautiful fam is here. That's right, Tough Cookie. Lawrence says, I'm actually surprised Jocko was mocking the SVB and SBF. He is like, I don't like saying things are catastrophic, but those two are. That is freaking hilarious. Probably staying in my corner of the USA, working on being 100% off the grid and laying low. That's what's up. Do your thing. Do what you got to do, family. Megadon says, do we have any crabs or squid in the chat? Bring Facts says, the world gets chaotic. You're forced to flee. How much gold are you carrying? Mars gets colonized. Same question. Dankness says, don't forget to slap the like button. Show your love to JV Daily Hard Work to be the best source for the crypto news. If you haven't yet subscribed, stay up to date with the only pure monetary system, BTC. Couldn't have said it better myself, family. Much love. Lawrence says gold is too heavy. Facts, it'll be very easily confiscated, as history has shown us before. You know what I mean? Above 30,000 by the end of the month. Love that, Maximus, and I can see that as well. I mean, for Christ's sake, we already hit 29.2 as the high for the year. That's only 800 shy of that new target, and I think that will help us moon up and leading into the halving of next year, which is 1 year away in 2024. Crabs are yummy, says Steve. Hilarious. Lawrence says, hopefully it will be soon and glad it is not today because of April Fools. Frankie says, everyone here, lots of respect. Take a lot of thinking out of the box to be here. We will all be winners. Don't ever forget. Facts, fam. Appreciate that. I couldn't agree more with you. If those volcanoes need a sacrifice, there's plenty in jail. Word up. That's a Michael Saylor quote. Bring facts. Sailing says, as South African people, we never got to vote on the BRICS thing. At the end of the day, it'll probably pump Bitcoin and give us a super cycle. Well, super cycle, send it and let's go. And as you can see, the Bitcoin price action is still dropping. We just dropped below 28,000 for the first time I saw here this day. Never trust anyone with my keys. Facts, not your keys, not your cheese. So don't give a third party such as a bank access to your keys to hold them for you. Learn how to self-custody yourself and take responsibility for your future finances and for your family's sake, right? If you can't trust a Crypto News Alerts fam, who can you trust? Great question, Tough Cookie. I feel you. Same. I was a silver bug before Bitcoin, a hodler too. Gold because duh. Guns and ammo, land, prep stuff. Says bring facts. Word up. You got to do what you got to do. Forced me to buy Bitcoin, so I win in the end. Lawrence says, unfortunately, I think being married for over 60 years, like he was, is no longer possible in today's world. Kind of sad. It does seem that way, fam. Why is Bitcoin so volatile? It's not that Bitcoin is so volatile. It's that everything else is so volatile. The dollar is so volatile. I also like to point out the volatility, which is reflected in the Bitcoin price action, is because Bitcoin volatility equals life force. If there was no volatility, what would be so exciting about Bitcoin? The fact that it is volatile creates all the opportunity. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing. Just saying. Do you see Max Keiser fight on the Keiser report with Goldman Sachs banker? That's right, the Jamie Dimon banker classic. I've shared that numerous times on crypto Twitter. It was around June 2021 for the ape Seesh, so I've almost recovered the loss on the gun money buy. My 2020 ape, still a legendary move. Are you referring to from the Bored Ape Yacht Club? Did you buy one of those NFTs? Pretty cool if you did. Why is Bitcoin so volatile? I mean, it's a reflection of the volatility of everything else in the markets. You know what I mean? Bitcoin isn't volatile. Fiat is. Agreed. You know what I mean? It's one not in jail that need to be volcanoed. It's the ones not in jail that need to be volcanoed. Exactly. We're talking about Bankman-Fried's, Gary Gensler's, Elizabeth, what is that? Elizabeth Warren. Name some others for me that should be in the volcano right now. You know what I mean? And with that being shared, fam, now let's recap with the big finish of what I shared with you here in today's show. We broke down the latest technical analysis with Bitcoin price targeting a fix on $35,000 as Bitcoin eyes massive liquidity squeeze. We also discussed that Donald Trump's NFT pumps after his indictment, and Q1 trading volume of NFTs hits $4.7 billion, continuing to boom. We also discussed top crypto analyst says Bitcoin is on the cusp of making history, as well as a new global currency designed to ditch the US dollar is coming from BRICS nations I shared in this report, which could be backed by gold and other earth precious metals. We also discussed that here's what could signal the next big Bitcoin leg up amid massive Bitcoin transactions, according to crypto analytics firm Santiment. And of course, we shared the latest and greatest with the New York power couple Max and Stacy behind El Salvador's Bitcoin experiment and $1 billion backed Bitcoin loans. But where do you feel? Bitcoin bond backed. Now, where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Peace.